Haley Norris, realtor. No. Should I make my hair go like this? Whether you need to buy, sell, or lease. Haley, can I use my hands? Or is that, where are my hands? Where do they go?
Just say,
Haley.
Just say Haley.
Whether you need my expertise. Haley Norris, realtor. Or even do a commercial lease. Haley Norris, realtor. Should I say Remax Real Estate Center or no? Is that too salesy?
No, that's good.
My average days on market is just 50 days. You need my expertise. And that means I'm putting more money back in your pocket.
It's a special report on NEA Report tonight as we're looking at the Harrisburg mayor at odds with the ex-police chief. We're talking about Randy Mills and Gary Hefner from Harrisburg, Arkansas. Tonight, the disagreement that has led to the resignation of Gary Hefner as the Harrisburg police chief. First, he was demoted. Now it's said that he's no longer going to work at the department at all. In fact, both sides are saying that, but both sides are also disagreeing as to why that has come about. The Harrisburg mayor says it was allegations of inappropriate behavior and sexual text messages that were alleged to have been exchanged but never confirmed. He also says that the ex-police chief's phone was wiped, factory reset, and the phone was a government issue phone, and he calls that the destruction of evidence. The ex-chief, even though he admits to wiping the phone, says that those texts never took place between himself and an outside woman, although he does admit that he did send inappropriate text messages to his wife, although one might argue about the appropriateness level. It was from a government cell phone. So the story has a number of different angles and perspectives to it, and this morning, after a number of days of trying to get both the Harrisburg mayor and former police chief on the phone, we were successful. In fact, with both of our efforts. So we're going to air both of those interviews now in their entirety. The first of which is the first interview we recorded, which is with the Harrisburg mayor. And the reason we're starting with that is because you'll then hear me talk to the police chief, Gary Hefner, asking several questions that only make sense having the context of the first interview behind us. Both interviews are incredibly revealing, as neither seems to hold back at any point at all. And you're going to get to hear that in full on NEA Report right now in long form. Get ready for the next half hour as we crack this story open and give you a full look at it. And once we're done, you'll walk away with a perspective and an understanding of it, at least we feel, of both sides, and you can make up your mind, decide who you feel was most at fault and most correct. This is NEA Report. So in the past week or so, NEA Report has followed on the story with the Harrisburg, now former police chief, who was resigned from his position. And on the phone to help us understand and learn more about this is the Harrisburg mayor, Randy Mills. Thank you, sir, for taking a couple of minutes to talk to us this morning. I appreciate that very much.
Sure.
So I want to ask, just can you tell us, you confirmed when we were talking a moment ago that you had asked him to resign or be removed from his position as police chief. Am I correct?
That is correct.
And can you tell us why that happened?
Well, several reasons. Insubordination was one. He had some inappropriate photos on his phone, on his city-issued phone. He was actually demoted because of that. When I got his phone back from him, he had done a factory reset on his phone. Those photos could not be brought up, nor could the text message thread that involved an alleged incident that happened between him and a lady. But anyhow, he had wiped his phone, and everything was gone. I got the phone back open through the Apple Store, but I could not bring anything up to corroborate or confirm what was on his phone.
So this is stuff on the phone, and you mentioned alleged potential behavior with a young lady. Am I to assume the photos may have been allegedly, but we haven't confirmed in an inappropriate sexual nature?
Yes.
Okay.
And like you say, this has not been confirmed.
Yes, sir.
I did talk to Chief Hefner and about this when it came to my attention. This lady came in and she said they didn't. They did not exchange photos.
The lady said that.
Yes.
Okay.
But when he wiped his phone, he actually destroyed public record. Okay, because that's a city phone.
Yes, sir.
Anything on the phone, and it tells this it addresses this in our personnel policy that anything on that phone is city property. So he was actually destroying public record is what he was doing.
I see. Sorry, go ahead.
We've not corroborated the information that's out there.
Yes,
so I can't say that's true or not true. I tend to believe it's not true, but
yes, sir.
I don't know for sure.
Well, when allegations are made, obviously you as a city leader want to investigate, and so that's difficult to do when the device is reset. And do you feel certain that reset was performed by the now former police chief?
Yes, he told me he did.
Oh, I see. Is that against?
He brought his phone to me, and he said he had reset it, done a factory reset on it, and at first he said he was not going to give me his Apple ID so I could get back in it, but then he decided to give me that, but when he did, it didn't work.
So you were never able to get back into it?
Well, I finally called the Apple store, and after 2 hours on the phone, I was able to get back in there, but he had never backed up on iCloud, and all the text messages and all his photos were gone. The only thing that was there were some contacts.
I see. Would the contacts have made sense within the allegations, or did they contradict any of those?
And neither one. They weren't.
I see.
They were just, I don't know who they were, but they had nothing to do with these allegations.
I see, sir. You seem very knowledgeable and aware of technology. So as I'm speaking to you here, you're talking about, photo backups and iClouds, and you're answering questions of mine before I'm even able to get them out. So kudos to you for. Is this something that you had to research to become more aware of, or are you a pretty tech-savvy guy?
Well, I've not done a whole lot of research, and I'm not real tech-savvy either. I just call and find out what to do and how to do it. So,
now, after last week, I believe the police chief was reduced to patrolman. Is he still a patrolman, or has he now resigned officially from that?
Well, in our conversation yesterday, when I went in and told him that he could resign or I was prepared to terminate, he said, "I will resign." Then later on, in our conversation, he said, "I will retire." I asked him again, "So you're going to resign?" He said, "No, I'll retire and find me another job." And I noticed on the television last night, he said he didn't resign. He had never signed a letter of resignation, and he hasn't. But he did verbally tell me he was going to retire and find another job. That was our last comment that he made. So
you expect that to happen, but as of, this moment, which we're recording this at 10:57, about 11 a.m. Tuesday, it's not officially in writing yet.
No, and I don't expect it to happen.
Oh, you don't expect it to happen?
Yeah. No, I do not imagine that he will submit a letter of resignation or his intent to retire. I don't. And if I fix one, if I write one for him to sign, I doubt that he will sign it.
Wow. So do you what will happen then? Will you fire him, or will he stay on the police force?
Well, and that will be a question for our attorney. Right now, I'm going on the assumption that you know, if he says that's what he's going to do, then you know, I have to take him at his word.
Wow.
You know,
Yes, sir.
I quite honestly don't. We've had several policemen that left here. As far as I know, I've never seen a letter of resignation. So I don't know if that's, you know, if they do that every time. I know our former police chief, the one before this one, I don't remember a letter of resignation ever coming from him.
Mm-hmm. So. At what was the point you decided? What was there a tipping point? You mentioned disrespectfulness in some of the statements, but was there a certain tipping point that you decided, even with the allegations not having definitive proof, he has to go?
Well, this decision came about over a period of time. I don't make quick decisions, and this was a hard decision for me to make, because I realize that I'm taking somebody's livelihood, and that's not something that I take joy in. As a matter of fact, it's caused me sleepless nights. But I think my job is to do what's best for the city of Harrisburg, for the citizens of Harrisburg, and you know, just over thought and prayer and knowing that this is the decision that I had to come to.
I understand. Will we be expecting anything else to occur? As far as are you going to turn over the phone to any kind of professionals, or do you anticipate any other bits of information or discussions?
At this time, I do not anticipate any further. You know, I see no good reason to do that unless he requests it. Then I could do that, but no. As far as I'm concerned, you know, it is what it is, and we will move on from here.
Moving on in that very spirit, you have a city council meeting tonight. I know that you and I have already mentioned there's not planned to be any discussion related to this. When do you anticipate the appointment of, or official appointment, I guess, of your next police chief?
Well, we are searching now. We've already received a couple of resumes. It's not going to be in the next week or two. It will be at least a month down the road. We're going to take our time. We're going to find who we need, and so as far as anticipation on when that will happen, I do not know.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you taking a few moments to talk to me this morning. Is there anything else that you can think of? You've been very forthcoming about with all of this. Is there anything you can think of or you would want to communicate maybe to the public that I've not asked?
No, I guess not. I think we're good.
All right, so Mr. Hefner, thank you. I appreciate it so much for you taking a couple of minutes to talk to me. I know this is a very weird time for you, and you mentioned just now that you've decided to take your retirement. You said?
Yes, I've decided. I have 28 years, almost 29 years with the city, and rather than just stay in this drama and just the turmoil, I've just decided, the council was talking about reinstating me as chief, and I appreciate that, but, I don't think I could work for Randy Mills again as mayor. There's just too much water under the bridge, and we just, we don't agree on things, and his whole problem is if you don't agree with him, then he doesn't want to even talk about it. So.
Oh. Is that what happened, as far as your perspective, that led to the end of your...
Well, I believe that's what caused my demotion. I mean, there had been some rumors of, well, there was a flash drive. It's not a rumor. There was a flash drive that was presented to the mayor by one of my officers, and it contained a legitimate text conversation between myself and another person that I was trying to assist in getting a vehicle. She was married to a man whose brother was dying with cancer, and they went to the hospital. They had this man call me, FaceTime me on the phone, and he told me that he wanted his brother to have this vehicle when he died, or really actually before he died, because he wanted me to get it for him then. So I told him, I said, well, this is all a civil matter, and I said, I really can't become involved in that. But I told him, I said, if you'll just give me if you want to do this, I said, just give them a bill of sale, and when they bring that back to me to my office, I will go with them to your mom. The truck was at his mother's house. I said, I will go with them to your mother's house and get this truck and all this and that. And so the text had been going on quite a while between me and this female and her husband about getting this truck and this situation. But somebody took that actual text and added and inserted like videos of pornography videos, also some nude photos, and even a photo that was supposedly of me, which was not of me. And anyway, the mayor called me into his office, started questioning me about this. I offered to give him my cell phone at that time. He would not take my cell phone to have Verizon check it or whatever. He said, and I asked him, I said, can I call the people who are accused of sending this to me and have them talk with you? So they came down to his office. I called her because I had her cell phone number. I called her and told her, asked her if they could come and talk with the mayor. Well, they came in. I stepped out of the room while they talked with the mayor. I never said a word to them. I called them right in front of him. Never said a word to them about anything. And then whenever he asked them if I had sent any inappropriate messages or text to them, the lady said no. He's never sent anything, and said we've never sent anything to him. That all he's done is helped us. So the mayor told me at that point that he just felt like it was just a done deal, and that was the end of the story. So I kind of went on with it. But then we had a police committee meeting in which the mayor wanted a certain person hired. This person was not at the police committee meeting. We hadn't even considered him because he was like young and immature, and I didn't think he was what we needed. And so we had brought another young man in to talk to him, and the mayor had supposedly went and called the sheriff's department where this man used to work. He worked for the county jail. This man did give me some false information. He told me that his brother was graduating the police academy, and he had made arrangements for somebody to come in and cover his shift at the jail. We'll come to find out that was not true. And the mayor found out about that, and I give him credit for that, because I had, the boy had lied to us. But anyway, during this meeting, after the boy had stepped out of the room, he started just like kind of bashing the guy and saying, well, the guy at the jail says that he would not hire him back if he had to, and that he didn't think he was even smart enough to pass the academy. And I said, well, that's not very fair. I said, I made it through it, just kind of as a joke. And he said, well, anyway, we're not, he said, I just think you didn't do a very good background check on this man. And I was like, well, I guess I didn't. Well, so I was sitting there and I was getting a little agitated, and I was kind of like, I said, well, I tell you what, I said, I know a perfect young man who needs a job, and I said, the mayor would probably not have any problems with hiring this guy, because he's told me about 20 times that he wants him hired, and I told him the name of the person. And he slams his hand down on the table and points his finger in my face and says, Chief, you're on thin ice. I mean, just over me saying that. And, he's well known for yelling out at city council members, and when he gets aggravated or if something doesn't go his way. So I mean, I just that was one of the incidents where he said that I was disrespectful. The other incident was way later back. It was in like November or December of 2017. We had a gun sale and sold we sold a lot of guns that were in our evidence locker that we went through and done a lot of work on it. And so before selling these guns, I had talked with the mayor, and myself and my lieutenant had talked with the mayor, and we had discussed with him that all the proceeds from this gun sale should go into a fund for the Harrisburg Police Department equipment. And he was fine with that at the time. Well, after we had the sale, he comes in and asks me how much we made, and I said like $15,000. And he said, "Well, that's good. You know, do you have the checks?" And I was like, "No, I don't have the checks yet." So the next day, the very next day, it was on a Tuesday, we were fixing to have court. He comes in and he says, he closes my door and he sits down and he says, "You know, this police department fund thing that we talked about is not going to happen." And I said, "What do you mean it's not going to happen?" He said, "Well, I've got to have that money to operate the city." And I said, "Well, that was not what we agreed on." And I said, "I'm not giving you the checks." So, I mean, I didn't even have the checks at that time, but I told him, I said, "I'm not giving you the money." And, which, you know, I eventually did. But, you know, then that night, that was on a Tuesday night, we had a council meeting that night. And during the council meeting, one of the council members brought up the sale. He was like, "Hey, I was out of town this weekend. Did y'all do good on the sale?" And I was like, "Yeah, we did great." I said, "We made like $15,000. And he was like, "So y'all going to be able to get all the equipment that you need, right?" And I was like, "Well, no, probably not, because this morning the mayor has come into my office and said that he needed the money to put in general funds because the city is broke." And the mayor yells out, "I didn't tell you that." And I was like, "Mayor, you told me that right in my office." And that was the second time he said I was disrespectful. So that, I mean, it's basically personal. I mean, it's really kind of business, but I think it's because maybe I embarrassed him or made him mad, you know, when I didn't want to hire the guy he wanted hired.
Who is the person that you mentioned that you brought up that seemed to aggravate him in that conversation?
That was well, I'd rather not give names. I mean,
okay. I mean, was it somebody that he knew, or was it somebody that was?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, his brother is he works for water and gas here in Harrisburg.
Well, I'm just asking in the sense, was it like was there something about that would have aggravated him that we as third parties to this would not have understood from that?
Well, actually, I don't know. I didn't know the boy myself. I mean, I've never really met him. I mean, I've known of him, but my lieutenant told me that if we hired him, he would quit. I mean, he knew the boy. He knew how he acted and what he does or whatever. I mean, I can't really elaborate on that because I didn't even know the boy, but I do know that my lieutenant told me that if we hired him, he was going to find another job. And so, I mean, that's sort of why I was so against hiring this guy, you know. And because, you know, like I said, I didn't personally know him, but I know his family, and I know his dad's a real good man and all that. But I mean, I didn't know the boy himself, but he's only like 21 years old or something. And he was very, you know, he has no police experience whatsoever. And this other young man that we had brought in, which he, you know, I'm glad we didn't hire him because he had falsified some information to us. But he was like he was part-time 2 certified, and he had been a jailer at the county sheriff's department. I mean, he had some experience, you know, not a lot, and his brother is a deputy with the sheriff's department. And I was just kind of just saying that, you know, considering how good his brother is as a deputy, that he would probably sort of be the same, you know, they're brothers, you know. And but I don't know. I mean, I just feel like my demotion was basically on the fact that I embarrassed the mayor, or I made him mad during a council meeting when he slammed his hand down on the table and told me I was on thin ice. I think that's basically what the demotion was about. Now, there was another incident. I mean, I don't care to tell you. I mean, I told the mayor he could tell the news media this. I didn't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. On my city phone, my wife had sent me a nude photograph, and I sent her one. You know, my wife, you know, we've been married 2 years, and, you know, it wasn't like, it wasn't to anybody else's wife, it was to my wife, you know. And I mean, you know, he used that against me, and that was the first original thing he said that he demoted me for, was because I had broke the city's policy on the technology use, because I had sent and received nude photos of my wife. And, you know, I mean, and then he turned right around and called Channel 3 News, or somebody called Channel 3 News and had him come to his office, and he told them that he demoted me because I was disrespectful. So, I mean, that's two conflicting stories right there. I mean,
you spoke with Channel 3, I think, yesterday, or maybe.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted people to know my side of the story. I really did. I mean, I wanted them to know that, you know, I could just vision people thinking I was just like a pervert sitting in my office looking at porno on my computer or something. I mean, it wasn't nothing like that at all. It was simply my wife had sent me a nude photo, and I sent her one, and or maybe more than one. I don't even know. I'm not going to lie about it. I mean,
yeah.
But I told him openly. I mean, I admitted to that. You know, and I told him that he'd never seen the pictures. I never showed him any pictures. I didn't want anybody to see the pictures. And that brings up the other point of why he said he demoted me, is because, or that actually this is the reason he told me I could either resign or be terminated. He came in yesterday and told me that I had destroyed public records, which there was nothing on my phone that was work related. I mean, other than just phone numbers that I have for like the sheriff's department, and I mean, I just used this phone like it was my own phone. I mean, it was just issued to me, and I had like Facebook on it, and I had you know, Instagram, stuff like that. I mean, but I never used my phone for like taking photographs of crime scenes or anything, because when you do that, then you open your whole telephone up for, you know, like examination. You know, if somebody wants to subpoena your phone or subpoena the records or whatever, and so I never done that. I mean, I just never used it for like work. I mean, I used it to call the office. I used it to talk to my other officers and all that, but I never used it like for evidence, like taking pictures of crime scenes or anything like that. I mean, I just never used it, so there was no evidence to be destroyed. I mean,
but you did wipe this phone.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You did. You said you did wipe the government.
Yeah, I did. I factory resetted the phone because I knew when he got the phone back that it would be issued to somebody else. And there was no pictures on there at the time of my wife. I mean, I'd already cleared all that out a long time ago. But, I mean, I know that they could go back and, like, try to find it or whatever. But I didn't want anybody seeing my wife nude or me.
Sure.
I mean, so that's why I done that. And, I mean, that's the only reason I done that. I wasn't trying to hide any other thing or whatever. I mean, that's the truth. I mean,
and the one thing I didn't get to ask you that you had mentioned to me off the air, but I wanted to give you a chance to include this if you wanted,
okay.
Was that you mentioned to me that you thought a lot of this was potentially you talked about the photos that you said I guess were photoshopped or something. You said a lot of this you thought may have been coming from people, enemies, people that you may have arrested in the past or things like
right.
that.
Well, I know my officer, one of my officers had been off on workers' comp for forever. I mean, he was off for like 8 months or almost a year with a broken ankle. And I don't know, I guess he had heard rumors that I was going to fire him when he come back to work. And I don't know if I don't know what his deal was, really. I don't know why he done this to me, really, just to be honest with you. I don't know why he betrayed me the way he did, but he went to somebody, I guess, and got this flash drive or whatever. I don't even know who made it or whatever. I mean, like I said, some of the text is the legitimate text that was between me and the girl. Mm. But then there was names. I mean, there was words added in. There was videos. There was pictures. They were all added in with this conversation that she and I had over this truck that her husband was trying to get from from his brother.
You mentioned, and the Harrisburg mayor both mentioned that the woman who was alleged had denied it. I think that's kind of a unanimous fact, I guess, at this point in the story.
Right, yeah.
You denied the photos. She denied the photos were sent.
Right.
What was her husband or boyfriend saying that they were sent, or who in this said? No. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody. There was no victim in this whole thing.
Wow.
I mean, even if I had sent photos to her, and she had sent photos to me, I mean, it would have been a moral issue, and it would have been a problem for my family.
Yeah.
But there was no crime committed. I mean, even if I would have done this, but I'm denying it all. I mean, I did not send her any photos. She didn't send me any photos. And the thing is that, you know, the mayor just keeps digging on this thing. And, you know, it's like he told me at the very first when I called her and her husband. Her and her husband came to the office and talked with the mayor and told him that none of this was true, that this was not pictures sent between she and I, and that we had only talked about the truck. And somebody else evidently has, you know, manufactured this flash drive, which I know, I'm pretty sure I know who has made it come forth. I can't say this for sure because I can't prove it, but there was a person who is very angry at me. I arrested he and his wife at DHS. They were messed up, come to see their son for visitation. They were both under the influence of drugs. I arrested both of them, took them to jail that day, and I think they are somehow involved in this, but like I said, I'm not going to call any names because I can't prove this.
What do you see as far as, you mentioned to me the retirement? Do you think that you're going to go on to do other law enforcement work, or what do you think's next for you in life?
No, I don't think I will go back to law enforcement. I think I'm done with law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement since 1984. I started out as a radio operator in Walnut Ridge, Arkansas. Then I worked for the sheriff's department for about 7 years there, and then I came to Harrisburg in 1990. And you know, like I said, I've been in law enforcement since 2 years when I was out of high school. I mean, I graduated in '82 and I began law enforcement in '84. So I'm kind of pretty much done with law enforcement.
I understand. I hope that's you know, it's sad to hear in a way because it's a long time of a career, and I know that it's a career that a lot of people are leaving and not as many are getting into that, you know, but
well, the thing I want to say is that I want to tell the people of Harrisburg that I appreciate their support, and I know that there's a lot of people who believe in me and know that I am telling the truth. But there, like I said, there's also going to be those other people who have vendettas against me, and who, you know, in 28 years you don't arrest a lot of people and not make some enemies, you know.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people who like to hurt me, you know, and say things that are not true, and just make more out of it than what it is, you know, and just keep this drama rolling or whatever, you know. But the people who know me and know me personally, they know the truth, so that's all that really matters to me.
Appreciate you taking a couple of moments to talk to us and speak with us. It's the former...
All right, well, thank you for wanting my side of the story.
That's the former Harrisburg Police Chief, Gary Hefner, who took a few moments to talk to us this morning, along with the Harrisburg mayor. Okay, it's 3:33, bottom of the hour, and NEA Report as we're kind of reviewing this entire story as we heard from everyone there. Got some questions in chat I wanted to address as well. Some folks were saying, so this was what the reason why that he was forced out was? Yes, what you just heard was everything involving and surrounding that. Allegations of some type of inappropriate texting that was going on were investigated. There has never been, to my understanding, physical proof presented of that. Now, during the show here, I was sent along several text messages, some photographs. Haven't had a chance to review all those just yet. Hoping to and seeing where to go with that. Obviously, the content that was said to have been exchanged between the alleged woman who was not Hefner's wife and Hefner, who was at the time the police chief, has been denied both by the chief and by the woman. That's what's been said. I don't know if there is photographic evidence contradicting both of what they've said. I have, like I said, I have yet to review that. Just looking through chat to see. Brandy said, why wouldn't they have given him a written warning first or some sort of punishment before a demotion or making him resign? Sandy said, maybe more like responsibility to do the right and responsible thing. And SL, thanks, she said, for keeping us updated. Thank you for the kind comment. Appreciate you very much. It's a story, you know, a lot of these stories, especially one like this, you wish and you hope that you can find a clear answer and a clear signal as to who did wrong and who did right. I believe when speaking to both of those men today, I could not get the sense that either felt as though they had done wrong. I don't know everything involved with this. Sometimes people, both sides, think that they're doing right, and the human aspect leads one side to make a mistake without realizing it. We don't know exactly the internal dynamics of the thought process behind everybody that is involved with this. We'll keep following the story. However, it's interesting to note what was said, Hefner believing he's going to retire, the mayor saying this is probably done. There may not be much else to this story that we can learn, but if we can, we will bring that to you. Weather is next, and some storms are moving into northeast Arkansas, so hang around. I'll tell you where they're at.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic, here for you when you need us.
Specializing in unloading contents and packet moves, fully insured and licensed, The Moving Company is the only company to call for your next move. The Moving Company's award-winning team will quickly, safely, and efficiently move your belongings where you need them, whether it's across town or across the country. The Moving Company. Equipped with 2 full-size moving trucks and all the supplies and tools for any move, the Moving Company is prepared for the toughest jobs to the most gentle. To book your next move, give us a call at 882-2842 or send us a message to our Facebook page by searching The Moving Company.
Time for your New Wave Wireless weather forecast, home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. Here it is, and thunderstorms and showers are going to be possible for us, and it's going to be possible for us actually for the next couple of days. I want to show you guys a real quick look actually at the radar right now because we do have some storms rolling into northeast Arkansas. Let's bring this up live. Right there. Okay, so we can see in Randolph County, Clay County, also some showers and thunderstorms rolling in this afternoon. We don't have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect anywhere across northeast Arkansas at the moment. Got to keep watch on those storms as they do move through NEA today. In fact, northern Lawrence County even seeing a few. Tonight, we do have a chance for showers and thunderstorms, 30% chance mainly before 1 a.m. with mostly cloudy skies, a low of 73. Tomorrow, 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms with partly sunny skies and a high near 92. Wednesday night, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms before 1 a.m. with a low around 73. Thursday, 20% chance for thunderstorms, partly sunny, a high near 92. Friday, mostly sunny and a high near 93. Saturday, you do have a 20% chance for thunderstorms, but mostly sunny skies otherwise, and the high right around 93. At the moment in Jonesboro, it's 93 degrees because I just said that number about 150 times, and a few clouds are popping up out there around us too. Thanks, everybody, for joining us this afternoon on NEA Report. Invite you to join us back tomorrow with more news from Northeast Arkansas as we'll show you one large look at that radar once more here. You can see those showers and thunderstorms stretching past Independence County, actually, into White County, too, down there. So we will keep watching those storms. If they create any kind of interesting fun or craziness or such, we will cover that stuff. But we, the very minimum at least, it doesn't appear like there's a great likelihood of that happening. I saw there was, I think the Weather Service says, in fact, let me see, I just got an update. It says there's currently no severe storms in our forecast area. The most unstable air mass exists over northeast Arkansas. A few strong storms are possible over the next several hours. Weather Service concluding that post there, saying they're going to be watching that. Southwestern White County seeing some storms at the moment that are actually enough to have caused a severe weather advisory to be issued until 4 p.m. And that's from the Little Rock Weather Service office. So we're keeping a watch on all that stuff. If anything happens this afternoon, we will let you know. But until we are back, we thank you all for joining us on NEA Report. We hope you enjoyed the special report tonight. And we are back tomorrow with more news from Northeast Arkansas, unless it all gets crazy before then. And we'll get crazy too. And we'll do breaking news coverage. I'm Stan Morris. Now you're up to date from NEA Report. Have a great night.